Hey everyone, how are y'all doing? Hey, let's cruise this. Whoops, there's my press going off. Hold on. So I'm sitting at the desk pressing some comic books. Todd can't make it tonight, so I thought I'd do a quick little show, just me, see what's going on. How are y'all doing? So I wonder if you can do music. Let's see. We'll put some music on. There we go. So you got me with some background dance pop music. How's that? I got one called Feeding the Ducks. What's that? There we go. I feel like I should be rapping. All right, let's spruce this. Oh man, so I've been trying to post stuff on eBay all week. And thank you to everyone if you haven't been watching and you've done some purchases with me on eBay. I've had a big week. I feel really blessed and really appreciative to everybody. But I've got several boxes over here that I posted on eBay, and so so still a lot of good deals out there to be had. And what I'm going through is I found a box of Star Wars books. I forgot how many damn Star Wars #1s they put out for that damn book. And I've got a stack of them. These are all just #1s for Star Wars, the Marvel comic. You believe that? But here's some other cool stuff in cleaning up. Found this. Vacation special. Dennis the Menace goes to camp. That cat don't know what to do with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Or that fish don't know what to do with a peanut butter jelly sandwich. So this is a pretty cool book. So what they would do is they'd sell these at gas stations. That's before convenience stores. For you, those of you who don't know that, where they would actually come out to your car, pump your gas for you, wash your windshields and all that stuff. But you could buy these on like the family trip, like you're heading out, going to the woods, going camping with the kids and family. And it's a big, thick book that would keep the kids entertained in the back seat. They could learn about camping. It's got bonus book, Camping Tips by Mark Trail. Mark Trail, Camping Tips. So, keep the kids busy, and they can find out about camping as you're heading to the woods. Hopefully they all make it back. If you lose one or two kids while you're out there, I mean, it happens. But and some weird 80s comics here. This is from Cadillac Comics. Savage Ninja, the origin of Michael Savage. I think I want to change my name now. Shelby Savage. That'd be hard to pronounce. Shelby Savage. Shelby Savage. Came across. Been trying to do a collection here. I need to see if I've got them all now. Mr. or Miracle Man. That's a cool indie book. This from the 70s. Skull Comics. Check that out. 50 cents. Wolf in a coffin. Issue 4. And some Golden Age books I found over here. Real Life Comics. Paul Revere. Yeah, it is a killer underground series for sure. It's hard to find. I thought about collecting. I think there's only like five or 10 issues. I'm not sure. But this is the only issue I've ever been able to pick up at a reasonable price. So, but this is a special Lovecraft issue. Then some Golden Age books I found. This one on Paul Revere. But what's cool is this is a Schoenberg cover. So Alex Schoenberg, famous Golden Age artist. Pretty cool. And then this is the only one of these I have is Boy Comics. Number 16. One of them get Lev Gleason publications. But yeah, look at that crazy cover. Look at that guy. Got Monkey freaking out over there. This is cool. This is a a pre-code war book. Attack. And he's being attacked, and he's slapping him with the back of his rifle. Blood spurting out of his mouth behind enemy lines. And I bought this as a project book. Conservation project, Crime and Justice. So, rookie cop and his fateful decision. Someone called David, tell him I found his book. Alright. But look at all these Star Wars #1s. This is a Dynamic Forces reprint or Dynamic Forces print. Greg Land cover. And it comes with a certificate of authenticity, limited to only 15,000 copies. That's a cool one. This were the few bones. It's kind of like the painted version of the original Star Wars #1. Pretty cool. Oh, this one's still in a poly bag for your protection. The Hot Topic Star Wars 1 exclusive. Little Han and Leia there. #1. Other things mixed in here, looks like. They did like 30-something variants. I thought about being crazy and collecting them all at one time, but I gave up about halfway through. I don't see who the artist is on this one. It's another Star Wars #1. Pretty cool cover. Fan Expo, Star Wars #1. Kind of a take on the first movie poster. Pretty cool. And then this was cool. I'd forgotten about this one. This is a J. Scott Campbell Star Wars #1. Pretty cool. And then we got the photo cover, Star Wars #1. And this is, now this isn't the first, this is another Star Wars #1, but not from that series. So I guess they ended that series, started another one. I'm not sure. This is a cool one. Jen Bartel, Leia, Star Wars #1. That's a pretty book. Oh, got another photo cover. Hoth, Star Wars #1. This is, oh, I can't remember the artist's name. Star Wars #1. Jack's trying to get in. They're holding him back. Say no. Whoa. This is a GameStop exclusive. Star Wars #1. This is the preview to Star Wars #1. This is the Cards and Comics 30-year anniversary Star Wars #1. Oh, this is the Hasbro PX Preview Exclusive New York Toy Fair Limited #1. Vader kneeling there. This is steel poly bag for your protection. The Hot Topic Star Wars #1. Oh, another one of those. 5th printing Star Wars #1. This should be the first printing Star Wars #1. The regular newsstand. I guess this is that same series. Yeah. Arthur Adams, Darth Vader, Star Wars #1. And this is the Boba Fett, kind of homage to the first Punisher, Star Wars #1. Heroes and Fantasy, the largest store in Texas. No, don't even know where they are though. Lived in Texas 15 years. I thought I've been to almost every major one. I don't even know who they are. No idea who this artist is, but it's that Star Wars #1. Looks like they're in the Millennium Falcon, but I don't know. Kind of weird. The Scotty Young Star Wars #1. Now I know they did connecting covers on this book. I don't know what the other two were. And this is, that's not a Star Wars #1. All right. That is all the Star Wars #1s I think I have. Oh, this stuff's gonna fall. So, and found a stack of Darth Vader #1s. That's a cool one. I don't know who the artist is. Darth Vader #1. It looks got little Annie Skywalker inside the grill of Darth Vader, like he's trapped, like a prisoner. That's cool. All right, here's one of the connecting covers to that. Scotty Young a minute ago, Darth Vader. Then that's second printing Darth Vader. Photo cover Darth Vader. We'll rule the galaxy together as father and son. And that is it. That is all the Darth Vaders that I had. So anyway, I'll be taking some pictures of these, posting them over on my eBay's channel. Oh, lied. Found one more Darth Vader #1. The Bam exclusive. Oh, so anyway, yep. So I'm sorting through those, trying to make sense of all the Star Wars books. Man, that's a big hype, right? Marvel getting back the license to Star Wars, putting out books again. I read, I think, the first 3 issues. It was a good story. I just didn't keep up with it. I got overwhelmed by all the variant covers, man. Where I was just buying variant covers and I wasn't reading the story and stuff. Oh, you know, you just get kind of lost in that. That's one thing I've come across so many freaking variant covers in here. I bought into the hype, guys. I bought into it. I sucked that teat of the variant hype, man. Oh my God. And now I'm drowning in regret here in the comic book room. As I drink a Mexican Coke. Man. Oh, how are y'all doing tonight? Well, okay. So, I think that's what I'm going to finish doing, is taking some pictures of some funny books, do some listings over there on the old eBays, drinking the Lord's soup, I see. I don't know what the Lord's soup is, but I do enjoy these Mexican Cokes. I gotten kind of addicted to them. So, Refresco. But yeah, good old sugar cane. Let's see, property. Anyway, good stuff. All right. But so I did get into Captain Marvel book. This one's really cool, really nice condition too. Not much wrong with it. Captain Marvel 137 fighting these statues. Hey, Captain Beardo. Yep, just this ladies in here. Todd couldn't make it tonight, so I'm entertaining y'all for a little bit. So, and then this book is in rough shape. I thought it was a funny cover. Captain Marvel fights the astonishing yeast menace. The yeast menace. And there's a woman and a boy running away. And he's fighting the yeast menace. I know there's some jokes in there. I know there's some jokes in there. The yeast menace. The astonishing yeast menace. And I don't know what they're looking at. The action is going on behind them, but they're looking all surprised and looking the other way. And then people are running, yelling. Hey, Peter. There you go. Now we're getting some jokes. Captain Beardo. That's where I was going, Las Cruces. You know, I'm assuming on the other side of all this is like the gynecologist's office. I don't know. But Peter, hey Peter. Oh, and it's stamped with the owner's name, Caroline Dumbach owned this book. The Yeast Menace, owned by Caroline. I can't make this up. I can't make it up. Cool art, though. Cool art. But, yeah, Peter, you know, I've always loved Captain Marvel. That Captain Marvel. Closet Captain Marvel. I always thought it was cool. Never collected it because it's too expensive. But, man, Golden Age books, man. Golden Age books are dropping in price. Dropping. All them old people that, you know, had that stuff in their collections, dude. You know? So it's dropping in price. And I was talking to Richard that owns Bedrock City a year or so ago, and he said, you know, you could buy the entire series of Captain Marvel, and I'm not sure if he meant Wiz Comics or Captain Marvel Adventures, cheaper than you can the first 100 issues of Spider-Man. Probably you could buy that whole series cheaper than you can Spider-Man #1. But anyway, yeah, so it just kind of got me thinking about a year ago, and I was like, you know, it's one thing I'm dedicating 2024 to. Golden Age. It's the year of the Golden Age for old Shelby. So we've been, Yeah, buying Golden Age, doing some conservation. Oh, Peter. I'm doing a Captain Marvel. I don't remember it's 1945 though. I agree with you, Peter. You missed me showing off some Golden Age books earlier. A 1945 Captain Marvel I'm working on right now. I'll be dropping some videos this weekend. But I washed the inner wraps. I washed one of the inner wraps to see, and we got no ink loss in this one. Beautiful. Look at them beautiful blues. No ink loss. So it did have rust, and I was doing a bath to see if we could get rid of some of the rust here on the staple area. So it goes all the way through the book. It lightened it, but didn't get rid of it. And I'm definitely afraid to use our Evaporust because this is a tan book. And, you know, it's going to leave a tide line. You know it'll leave a tide line. You're just trading one tide line for another tide line at that point. You know what I mean? So I think I'm just going to wash them, you know, do our deacidification bath and live with it. Because I feel like that at least removing the rusted staples and you know, getting the rust off of them, and then removing all of the rust residue on the wraps, you know, definitely is, you know, you'll still see the tide lines from the rust, but I feel like you're kind of protecting it or something at that point, right? You know, you're removing all those contaminants from the pages that occurred due to the rust. So I feel like that, you know, even though it'll be a chore and you'll still be able to see like I said, the rust tide line, you know, I think it's the right thing to do in terms of conservation. So let me know if you think I'm cray-cray. If I'm cray-cray, just talking smoke. So if I'd known my buddy was going to not be here tonight, exactly. At least it's better, right? Because you're getting rid of all that. You still have the remnants that it was there, but you've removed everything. You removed all the rust. Man, there's one staple in there that is, oof. I'm going to be surprised if there's going to be a staple left once I run it through the Evaporust. So, but I had gotten, I haven't looked at the, and if I had known my partner wasn't going to be here tonight, I would have invited you on, and we could have talked shop. But, I'm still surprised that we're seeing a lot of the same questions over and over. And if you're at home right now, you're welcome to join me. I'm still surprised by the same questions we keep getting over and over in the Facebook group. So, but yeah, I can send you the linkage if you're at home, not doing anything, want to hang out for 20 minutes on the old show in your pajamas. I'm not monetized, so it wouldn't matter to me, but up to you. Definitely if they're your Batman pajamas. Do you have oh. Do you have IG? Oh, you're on your phone. All right. Well, if you want to, I just dropped the link over there in your. I don't know. I was thinking of that myself. He must be sleeping somewhere. He must be sleeping good too, because usually if he hears my voice, he comes back here. He must be sleeping good somewhere, because normally when he hears my voice, he comes running. I'm sure he'll show up sooner or later. Drop the link over in your IG. Yeah, it's over in Instagram. What do you mean you don't see it? Make sure, look at your blah 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 blah. Look at your request. I did a following message. It says this account can't receive your message because they don't allow new message requests from everyone. All right, I have to log into Facebook. Hold on. All right, I dropped it in Facebook Messenger. I don't know. All right, give me a second. Yeah, I don't know where it is either in Facebook. It's weird. Let me see if I can log in to StreamYard from my phone. All right. I just texted it to you. Oh, it's just for me, Captain Beardo, still. Yeah, I don't, I'm not insured or anything to, do it for anybody else. I mean, I have done it as favors to people like Tony NY and stuff. Has asked me to press a couple of books and things. So, yeah, I'll do it as a favor. But, if you send me something good and it accidentally gets lost in one of my comment boxes, I mean, not much I can do about that. Get eaten by a comment box in here. Never seen again. Oh. Never seen again. All this technology we got. Never sold a comic book. Wow. You're old school, man. You're old school. Never had a book clean or slabbed and never sold a comic. Oh, man. That's crazy. Add it to the stage. We got Peter. What's up, my friend? You are muted.
Hold on.
There you go. What's up?
Hey, how are you now? How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm good. My normal companion dropped out at the last minute, and I was like, well, I've been advertising all day, so I can get on here and act like a fool for an hour.
Well, it stays on YouTube, so you end up watching it again at some other time anyway, so.
Oh, man.
If it's, yeah. So, what time you start your program?
You're Eastern time, right? So it'd be, for you, it'd be like 9:05.
Wow. Yeah. So you just started then. Yeah. I was watching.
I started about an hour ago. What is it? There's a clock up here. 40 minutes ago.
Yeah. I was watching the DNC just now, and I was looking at because I get notifications that you're on, so I just switched to you immediately.
Funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
I figured that I would. I figured the show would end before Kamala Harris does her
Yes.
speech. So
Yes. Yeah,
they've
I
been
watch
leaving
it.
it late.
Yeah, I watch it on C-SPAN because there is no
Yeah,
commentators.
exactly.
Just yeah, you see the people. You see their psychology is very interesting. You know, they're all having fun. It's like one big party there. You know.
It is, man. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I'm very excited by all this. So, and I'm excited to hear Kamala speak. Uh, I thought Tim Waltz was amazing last night, and
I thought so
Obama
too.
was great, and
Yeah, very upbeat crowd there, and
oh, very upbeat.
I really think she has great momentum there to become president. So we'll see. You know, the first female president. It's amazing. You know, it'll be
That's a
amazing. So,
it's amazing, and Indian heritage, Jamaican heritage, which I think is great, just shows so much diversity.
yeah,
You know, that's what this country needs more of. You know, we were born, and you're an immigrant.
I
If
am.
you know,
Yes, I am. I am an Arab American. So I was born in Syria, and I came here when I was 20. You know, so
wow.
spent a good part of my life here, 45 years here. You know, so yeah,
And you know, that's what you were raised about in understanding America, right? The great melting pot, the great
yeah,
experiment,
yeah,
the appreciation that our diversity makes us stronger,
absolutely.
and that's just still so lacking in terms of being reflected in our government, and you know, and in other areas, you know.
Yeah,
So
I've yeah, I mean, I've always felt American people were very welcoming to immigrants, right? I mean, it's just lately, last I would say 10 years, we've been having this discussion about immigration being bad for the country, when in fact, actually, it benefits the country. You know?
oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
Now, I mean, I definitely think we have, you know, issues with, you know, people not doing it properly, and that's fine. I think every country has a lot of those issues.
right.
But yeah, there's no need to be anti-immigration over.
Yeah, I think the U.S. takes in about 1 million immigrants every year. You know, naturalized citizenship takes about 10 years from the minute you become eligible to work in the country. Then you have, I think, 5 to 10 years before you can apply for citizenship. So it's a long process for many people
Yeah,
to become
it is.
citizens. Yeah, I've been a citizen since 1990, so I've been.
Oh wow! Congratulations, my
Thank
friend.
you. Very proud, very proud Arab American, very proud American citizen. And I never missed an election. I always vote. I value that, the fact that it's a privilege, and you shouldn't be wasting it. You should go out and vote all the time. So I vote in every election.
That's great, and
Yeah.
I'll have to admit, I've taken it for granted over the years, and but I have been pretty. I've been good about it the last 20 years, but you know,
Yeah.
that's also me just kind of getting my shit together in the past 20 years. I did a lot of playing in my 20s.
Yeah, you're doing very well for yourself now. So you have a degree in psychology. You have a PhD in psychology.
I do, and you are.
I'm a microbiologist, and I teach microbiology at Salem State University here in Salem. I've been teacher pretty much all my life. You know, a few other jobs I took here and there part time. I was a database administrator for Boston University for a couple of years.
Very cool.
So I have some computer training, and I have, of course, mostly science, you know, in my background, which I really enjoy. So, and I'm now almost retirement age, so I'm looking at another 3 or 4 years before I retire.
I know. I didn't. Until you were on the show, I could never guess you were that old. Not mean that negatively, like that old.
No, I realize that.
I'm 55.
God bless you.
And I don't think I look that old.
No,
and you don't either,
look.
right?
No, yeah.
You don't either. So
I think I think comic books keep us young. Right?
I agree.
Yeah.
You know, and so many of us do come from like a science and education background. I find a lot of teachers in the comic book. My buddy Todd that does the show with me, he's an educator. You know, he teaches. You know, then of course Paul is from the science background. And I'm not like clinical psychology, like lay on the couch and tell me your problems psychologist. I'm a researcher. Right? So, so I come from that science background and stuff also. So that's kind of neat that you see some of that similarities.
Yes.
And such. And, you know, that's the researcher in me. I'm always looking for patterns.
Yes. Absolutely. So I am watching your the YouTube videos that you post often on conservation, and they are truly excellent.
Oh, thank you.
They're well done, and they're well paced, and you're very entertaining, and the cats are always there, so you can't
Jack is. Yeah.
Oh my God, he's amazing. He's such a beautiful kitty. And the black cat is what's her name? What his name?
He's Charlie, and actually he's
Charlie.
He's pure brown. He's dark brown. He's chocolate. That's how he got his name, is Charlie, from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Chocolate Factory. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Used to, there was Freeway. She's been sick for about the past year with cancer. So she don't really make it around as much, but everybody knew Freeway. Oh, look at that baby.
This is
gosh.
This is Angelo.
Oh.
Isn't he sweet? He's very sweet. He has no teeth, poor guy.
Oh.
Yeah, we adopted him 3 years ago. His dad passed away, and the neighbor took him in, but she had other pets and he didn't get along with them, so we ended up taking him in. And he's the sweetest cat.
I always say that cats are one of those things you don't ever look for. They find you.
They find you for sure, yeah.
What a pretty baby.
He is a pretty boy, yeah. He likes to play with shoestrings, and so you can see we're playing now. Yeah, here we go. So Captain Marvel, speaking, you've been doing a lot of Captain Marvel, I see, in conservation. And when I logged in, you were showing some Captain Marvel adventures also. I was. Yeah. You know who's into Captain Marvel a lot? Jerry the Jitterbug.
I know. I feel like he and I compete for some online. But I know his collection is a lot larger than mine, so I'm always happy to pick up his scraps.
Yeah. He's he's an attorney by training. Another great profession, of course. And he lives in New York City, and he has this great ability to relay information to you very easily,
I've only talked to Jerry via a few texts back and forth. I actually sent him a message on IG about a week or so ago, telling him that we need to talk more often. But I don't think he ever messaged me back. So
it's possible he's busy, or he didn't get it, or he didn't see it.
Yeah,
it happens,
so I might need to message him again on IG.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll try on Facebook. Maybe I'll try on Facebook, since I know he's on Facebook. I always forget about Facebook, and I've not been a big Facebook. I've always had a Facebook, account, but I never really used it that much until the conservation community.
Yeah.
And such. And I've been doing pressing and cleaning for years, but
same here. I mean, I've been doing a lot of it on my own, and most of it is pretty simple stuff, mostly like cleaning and pressing. But
Yeah.
And I've done over 200 books that way, right? And then a few I've done were full conservation, and those took a long time to do. And I'm working now on a Wonder Woman number 24, Golden Age. It has tremendous. Yeah, oh, you should see it. I mean, it has tremendous amount of tape.
I watched the first video on that one. That's it. You was doing. Well, I know your thumbnail was Wonder Woman on that, I believe.
Yeah,
you were showing
showing the staining from the glue.
Yeah.
So this new technique actually isn't my technique. It's just something I found online that a researcher had done the work, basically, and all I did is copy her work, right? And I came up with these little agar gels that have in them bestine, and you place them directly on top of the glue with the stain, and you see them sucking up the glue. They suck up the glue, they suck up the stain. You could do a couple of applications and the stain is gone. It's like amazing, right? Yeah.
I looked at the formula to make the gel, and it looks like a very meticulous process of like removing the acetone, if I remember right.
Ethyl alcohol.
And adding the water in order to produce it. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to go through that much trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it does take you. Preparing the medium preparing the agar gels takes you about maybe a day to do, because you gotta do it gradually, right? So you make the agar first, which has water in it, and then you replace the water with alcohol over a period of about 6 hours. And then by the time you get to almost 100% ethanol, now you're ready to replace the ethanol with bestine. So you end up adding bestine, and bestine kicks out the ethanol and takes over the agar plugs. So you end up with using these pretty much the next day. You make them on one day and you use them the next day. But once you have them, you have them. You could leave them in a bottle, and you can, anytime you want to use them, you can take them out and use them. So they can still be saturated with bestine, and you can use them anytime you want to.
So I was wondering, with some of that stainage, that some of that stain, made the paper translucent appearing. So I'm wondering if it's just maybe
so the stain is
oils, right? So I was then thinking about the stuff that what's his name showed on the show on Sunday, is Seventh Stone, the pumice of pulling up oils, and now I think it would still maybe leave a stain.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I guess maybe having an oily stain and using your method is better than having a dry stain and trying to remove it, because you're probably going to have to re-wet it anyway again.
Probably,
just kind of thinking through the process, right? Because that is what moves your impurity, so to speak, is through the liquid medium more than you can't move it through dry medium, so to speak. Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think his method will work on. This.
Yeah. Now that I talk through it out loud, I don't think so either.
Yeah. Because you're not dealing with
it.
Yeah. I mean, the tape, you can see through the page, but the thing is, once it takes the staining out, it's like back to normal. The page is looks totally normal, which is really weird, right? For the most part.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's definitely something. Now, another thing, that's what they were talking about Sunday, right? And I saw your comment, Tony. No, I didn't get banned from Facebook for that. So anyway, Tony always picks on me.
Yeah,
Tony's a good buddy up in New York also. So I had mentioned you earlier because this Captain Marvel I'm working on now has rust, and
Yeah.
I washed the page and I didn't lose inks on this one. This is from 1945 and I lost no inks. Those blues are still beautiful
Beautiful.
and bright. The page brightened up,
Congratulations.
but
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
we still have, of course, the tide line of where the rust is.
And that you washed it afterwards with calcium hydroxide water bath, and
yeah,
the tide line is still there.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty bad. It's a pretty bad stain. It goes through both sides and stuff. It goes through the whole book. And since this is the tanning is still not tanning, but the color, the off-white color of the page is still there. And I know I've practiced with some books. And if we were to use the Evaporust, we're just going to be trading one tide line for another, because it will lighten the page along with removing the stain, and then you'll end up with a white spot.
Yeah. So there is a product, I'm willing to try it. I haven't really done any work on that yet. There is a product called cyclomethicone D5.
Yeah.
And you can use it as a substrate before you apply the gels. In this case, in my case, the gels, right? So if you can make gels out of the Evaporust. So in other words, have the Evaporust go into the agar plugs and apply cyclomethicone on a dry sheet, and then apply the gels, and let's see if that will take care of removing the iron oxides 3. And if it does work, then that will probably won't leave the tide marks, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I know you use the regular liquid. I use the Evaporust gel, but it's just kind of a thicker version, right?
Yeah.
of the normal Evaporust.
Yeah,
but it does have, an acidic quality to it, right? Which will, at the same time, while it's removing the rust, it's going to remove those, the off-white color of the page and stuff like that too.
Yeah, so it does have that slight bleaching effect. It is at pH 6.5 or so.
Yeah,
which is slightly acidic, right? It's not too bad at all for an acid remover, for a rust remover.
Right.
But the other thing about Evaporust is that you can use it only with water. Like if you have your page in calcium hydroxide, it may not work as well as if it was wetted with water, because it needs that neutral. Yeah. So you need to do it with water only. So you spray the page with water, then you do the Evaporust, and then at the very end you do the deacidification bath in calcium hydroxide. Because
I didn't know that, because I've always done the deacidification bath first.
Yeah.
And then when it was wet with the calcium hydroxide, I would apply the Evaporust.
I think that's probably why you have the tight lines.
Is it? Okay.
It's possible, yeah.
Well, I might need to research that a little more. I'm not going to try that experiment with this Captain Marvel because it's an expensive book. But
I don't blame you.
We can find something close.
Yes. I bought a bunch of books that were, I bought a bunch of Bronze Age books. I paid, I think, $60 for 12 of them, and they were like Amazing Spider-Man and some really good titles. But they were all in water, right? They all had been exposed to water. They all had rust migrations in them. And I tested them quite well before I came up with the news with you guys about the Evaporust.
Right.
And that is one takeaway from my experiments, is that if you spray them with water versus calcium hydroxide, the reaction is better.
Yeah.
Because I think
it second.
Yeah.
Look, I'm actually listening. I'm just my computer says it's not plugged in, but I plugged it in, but I must not have pushed it all the way in the outlet.
I like your room there.
This is what I always say is this is what happens when you're over 50 and single and you have a 3-bedroom house is
Hey,
one
it's
bedroom's to sleep in, one bedroom's for comic books, and one bedroom's for toys.
You know what takes up space? The toys, I think. Comic books don't
The
take up
toy
much
room
space.
is pretty bad. The toy room is pretty bad, but
Toy room, yeah.
I've started selling off a few things. So I sold some of my Planet of the Apes thing a couple of weeks ago. So
yeah, one day if I get the courage, I'll show you my room. But it's neater than many hobbyist rooms, but it's still pretty crowded because I'm a married man. I can't expand my operation outside that room. I'm gonna stick to it. And this is small rooms. It's not that big. But yeah. I have comics and I have toys, and the toys is what takes up space in my room more so than comics, right? Comics can go into boxes and you could hide them in a closet. They can go in nicely, and how many comic books do you buy a year? I don't even know how many I buy a year, but probably 10, 20.
I don't know.
Yeah, not that many. But now
more than I should.
Yeah, now I should say less than I used to, because now I'm coming to a time in my life when I need to sell my stuff, not buy more stuff.
Well, me too, and that's what I always announce. Y'all can go over to my eBay page if you're still here. And I've been very blessed this week. Had a lot of sales past couple of weeks, and so, but I'm saving all that money to go to the Collector Summit, so I'm real excited about that.
Yes. You're going there with Dr. Paul and Larry and Phil, right? You'll be there with a bunch.
I would say they're going there with me.
But you'll be meeting with them.
I'll be meeting with them. Yeah. I have a friend of mine, Jason, known as Southern Comic Geek. If you've been watching my channel for a while, we have like our summer tour where we pick out certain shows and stuff to go to together. He comes over from Mississippi.
Yeah.
And so we've had this on our calendar to go to together. Then Paul happened to mention it, and then Larry and I started talking about it and all that. So yeah. So it should be fun, all of us there. So
it should be fun, yeah. Yeah, as you know, I met with Dr. Paul. He's a delightful guy. He was in Salem with his family, and he just sent me a text if I was available to meet with him for lunch. I said, sure. So I just ran over. He was like down the street from where I live.
Oh, that's cool.
And we ended up spending the whole afternoon together. It was wonderful. Yeah. He's a good guy.
I love the Boston area. It's so great.
It's Salem now has tons of tourists, I mean, Halloween started in Salem already. You see people dressed up as witches everywhere. It's like crazy.
That was really cool. That Bewitched statue, Elizabeth Montgomery statue.
Yes.
I didn't know that history till you told it there on the show and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've been over to Boston a couple of times, and I always go over to Harvard to the Million-Year-Old Picnic.
Yeah.
Store.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, in Boston, right?
Yeah, it's right there next to Harvard.
Yeah, in Cambridge. Okay, in Cambridge. Yeah, Cambridge is a sister town of Boston, so it's not that far. Yeah.
No, just get on the train.
Yeah,
get on the train, and then when you get off at the station, you got to stop at Nathan Hot Dogs and get a Nathan dog. And
yeah, exactly. But to retell the story on your show, the Bewitched cast of some 32 people came to Salem in 1970 to film for the 7th season of Bewitched. And they spent a week and a half in the Salem area. So they filmed in Salem, in Gloucester, and in in Magnolia. Magnolia is town close to Gloucester, so all of them are north of Salem from here.
Yeah.
And they filmed the Salem Saga episodes, which you can still see on Bewitched 7th season. So they show various parts of Salem and Gloucester and Magnolia. And one memorable episode, which I love, is called Darren on a Pedestal,
Okay.
where Serena ends up changing the statue of the fisherman from into a live person, and
Yeah,
she
to a
ends up
live person. Yes, I
yeah.
remember that episode. Yes.
Yes, and she puts Darren as a statue. Darren becomes the statue, and she ends up running away with the fisherman. So yeah, so I do like Bewitched. I watch it occasionally, and
I watched it growing up, as part of
yeah,
that staple of growing up, the
yeah,
afternoon TV shows,
yeah,
when you got home from school and stuff.
yeah. I remember like Lost in Space used to be on TV, and Star Trek was on reruns forever, still on reruns. And I watch all of those, Dream of Genie, The Monsters. Growing up, we got all the broadcast for them from Beirut and Jordan. So we used to get those TV programs. And I grew up watching American television, right? In the 70s, we watched Kojak, we watched Love Boat, you name it, right? It was all on TV.
Were they in English? Did you learn English through television and stuff?
They had subtitles in French or in Arabic, and I would read those instead. Yeah.
Okay.
But English I didn't learn until 1979. I went to England for a year, and while I was there in England, that's when I learned English. And it was literally the fast way. I had no choice. And then I came to the United States in 1979, late 79, and I went straight to college. I mean, there was like no break in between.
Wow.
And graduated by 83. I got my degree in biology. Then I went to graduate school. I got my degree in microbiology, master's degree in microbiology. And then I started working, got married, started working. So that's been my life pretty much. Comics came in as an interlude. I've always liked comics when I was a child. As you know, I read comics. And here in the United States, of course, I always had interest in pop culture in general. Loved Superman, loved Batman, who didn't, back then. And then, but I never collected them because I was in the midst of work and life, pretty much, until the 1990s, right? The advent of eBay and
Right.
That's when I started collecting, I would say, yeah. So it's been a good maybe 30 years of collecting American comics. But if you add the Syrian comic, the Arabic comics, and then you're talking about 50 years of collection, which I still have some of them. Yeah.
People need to go back and watch that show. It's over on Dr. Paul's channel, Liberty Hill Comics. And you'll see Peter's amazing face on the thumbnail, but he shows some really cool Arabic comics, some bound comics and such that were really cool. He showed some of where they changed the art and stuff with them. Yeah, very cool.
Here's a bound comic I did the other day. It's just a bunch of comics to read. Stuff that people don't buy on eBay sometimes. You can get them for really cheap, and you could bind them into comics. And that's what I do. I have a bunch of these that I bound myself. I give them a nice cover. I sometimes paint the cover myself, right? Like this is, I'm not sure if you can see it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. That's Captain America, actually.
Wow.
Just a way of
yeah. Okay, I see it. Yeah, I see it now. Yeah, that's cool.
That's just his face, and I painted the cover red, and the back is the traditional black here I have. And then the comics inside are just like Casper and Donald Ducks and things like that. Nothing really major.
That is cool.
Yeah. So it's for me. I don't even sell them. I just keep them here for my own enjoyment. And I do a bound book occasionally. If I have time, I may sit down. I'll take the staples out of the book and I'll stitch it. I'll bind it, and you have a professionally looking book at the end. So that's another thing I do in my alternate life. That's what happens.
I don't need any more hobbies. between work and conservation, and and you see the videos. I mean, I'm always doing a conservation project. I'm kind of jumping from one to the other,
Yes.
all the time. But that's what I want to do, is I want to get that. It's like an artist, right? You get that your first 1,000 hours, of drawing all the time, and just trying to get that first 1,000 hours of conservation and stuff. So, and I do want to really go out and buy me some paper and a blender and a squeeze bottle.
Yes.
And do some of that non suction table leaf casting. So
that's it's a process to learn, I have to say. Like when I first started doing it, I was doing the same thing as Jerry. I bought these ketchup bottles and I was trying to do it, and they wouldn't squeeze out anything. They'd be like jammed in no time because the pulp was so big.
Yeah.
So I started filtering my pulp, and then everything was okay for a while. But then I was using pulp that wasn't really doing good hydrogen bonding with the paper. So it was lifting at times and everything else. So I experimented with different other pulps. I did the cotton linters, I did the abaca pulps, and I modified my method quite a bit. Now I get it so well that the sheets I get are very nice and consistent and even, right? So when I do the method I use is, nobody uses it actually, except probably for me. But the method I use involves, of course, using micropipetter, but also trying to come up with these even sheets of pulp that you can place directly on the paper, and then press it really, of course, roll it and then press it to create those hydrogen bonds. But I find that the best way to get the pulp fine is not filtering necessarily. Filtering is good to do, but is to follow what they do in the paper industry when they, exactly. So when they use these long fibers, they tend to jam together, and you end up with a mess on your hand. You can't really pipette anything. You can't do anything with it. So I use, let's see if I remember here. So you do the pulp in the blender basically, right? And then you add the sizing to it, and you add, if you're coloring it, you end up adding the retention aids and things like that. And that you end up coloring it, and then at the end you have to add formation aid. Formation aid is basically is going to give you these smoother sheets at the end when you do the pulp. Yeah. So I learned to do that, and I've been doing it now for a while, right? And I do add other things to it. Sometimes if the pulp I'm using isn't, say, abaca or some other pulp that I don't know anything about, I may add to it glycerol, because sometimes it comes out very stiff and you can't really bend it. If you can't bend it, it'll crack on you. So I end up adding glycerol, which is something they do in the paper industry anyways. They add glycerol to their pulp to make it more pliable and bendable. So there are additives you could do on your own, the sodium propionate, the glycerol, the formation aids, things like that. And you could learn a lot about paper making in the same time as you are learning how to do the leaf casting, right? And that's the fun part, I think, is the learning part. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to definitely have a longer conversation with you when I get ready to, move over to that area. Right now, I've got plenty of projects that I can do without leaf casting, and I'm just not
there yet.
Just not there yet.
Yes.
I know I'm going to get there. I know I am, because I do have some really important projects that I want to do that need leaf casting. So, but yeah, right now,
And a lot of it you could do. You could just do the Tengu tissue, right? You could do Tengujo, Japan tissue to seal. You don't need any leaf casting. I mean, actually, if
Right.
you're sending it to CGC doesn't care, right? If it's done with Tengu tissue, it's still attached and still can be readable, and they don't care, you know. Leaf
Right.
casting, of course, is more high standard of work, and people who do a good job with it usually have the equipment and the machines to do it in.
Right.
You know, Kenny Sanderson has a leaf caster. I mean, has the $40,000 machine that he does the work in. We don't have that kind of access to. I mean, the machine itself takes up like half of my room.
No,
You know,
I watched the paper conservation YouTube videos and stuff, and I've seen that. And then also, is it Pale over in the UK? They have like a $2,000 leaf casting table.
yeah.
You know, and it's about a 4x4. But yeah, that
$2,000 is cheap actually. Leaf casting machine, $2,000 is cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, they have probably like a Hollander beater. Like right now, what we do is we blend our pulp. That's not how you do it in the actual paper industry. You have to beat your pulp, because this way you maintain the length of your fibers. Yeah. So we don't. I mean, I don't have money to buy a Hollander beater. It costs like $4,000 to get one, and again, they take up half of your room. So unless we start a company, all of us, right, and build
We're
this.
Too old for that. We're too old for that. You know, I'm too old. I mean, I think I'm probably older. I know I'm older than Paul, and I'm probably older than Larry. I'm not going to build some kind of big ass apparatus and all that stuff and get involved in that. You know, if it's something simple, or you know, maybe I'll trade somebody to do it for me, but I don't know.
Keep it as a hobby is the best. That's what I do as a hobby.
Exactly.
You know, I don't like to work on other people's comics. I like my own comics, and that's what I end up working on. So, yeah. So, so what time is it right now in?
It is 9:30, so it's probably 10:30 for you. But yeah, so this is the book I'll be dropping videos on this weekend.
Nice.
So the rust staining was a lot worse. Let me make myself bigger. Hold on.
Look at that cover.
Yeah,
Jesus, that looks like near mint from this angle here.
It's a beautiful cover. I did it. The cleaning and drying and all that came out really well, pressing and stuff.
Beautiful.
But you can definitely see where the rust was. It's lightened a lot. I did some blue LED treatments, but I don't think really did anything. But I've lightened it a lot, so I'm pretty happy with getting it to this point.
Yes. What year is this? 1940s?
45.
45s. Okay. Gorgeous. Look at that.
Now it did end up. See, the rust actually. Whatever got wet back here, there's actually a water. You actually the water stain's kind of gone now, but there was a water stain.
But you don't see it.
The bottom staple got rusty, and then the rust spread throughout that entire book.
Really? That's weird. Huh.
Actually, it may have been. I don't know. It also could have been. I don't think it's tanning.
Because the rust,
normally tanning reduces. So I don't know if that rust. But
rust is very unlikely to migrate that fast to other regions. Probably tanning.
It may have been some kind of tanning, yeah.
Yeah. Because rust is gonna react straight.
But normally this type of tanning, though, will come almost completely out. So there's something else going on. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what I
clean to
said
me
in my video is I don't know the chemistry of what else is going on there.
Yeah. No, looks great to me. So I think whatever tanning you have in there is gone.
Yeah.
From my angle, at least, looking at it. Yeah.
So, yeah, we're kind of calling it there on that, but that's where then
that's the interior.
The interior wraps. Every wrap has this.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah, you can treat that definitely with evaporust.
Like I said, I'm a little afraid of that.
The bleaching effect.
Yeah.
I would try a small little area and see how that goes. Like do a spot testing. You know how they do spot testing in conservation? Do a spot test and give it like 4 hours and then check on it. And if it does remove some other colors, then you'll know you're dealing with a bad idea here.
But yeah, you can see.
Yeah, no, yeah. You know, I personally would go for it.
Would you? All right.
I would.
Well, I have the one page that I showed earlier, which was my kind of test page. It's second to the middle wrap.
Yeah.
As my test page. So do you suggest well, I think, let me say it like this. I feel like you should deacidify first to try to pull out as much tanning as possible and then maybe do it, but then you're going to have that calcium hydroxide in the paper. So
you're going to have that as a reserve in the paper, and that the pH might interact with the evaporust. It might need that slight acidic environment to work well on the iron oxides. And I'm speculating water is better initially than calcium hydroxide.
So just wet the paper and brush on a little bit.
What I would do, take a single page maybe, and try it on that one single wrap, and see if it works on that wrap. If it works on that wrap, then apply it to the other wraps.
And you suggest wetting the page?
I would spray it with water, leave it flat on plexiglass, spray it with water. Put Remain paper, of course, and then apply. The way I do it is I brush the evaporust over the black rust area, and then I place a paper towel on top, a small paper towel on top, saturated with evaporust, right? So you've seen the videos. And then what I do is I place a sheet of a paper towel on top of the whole thing, let it incubate for at least 4 to 6 hours, and then check on it in 4 to 6 hours and see if it worked. You should be able to tell if it worked, right? But you won't get the full effect until it dries fully. Once it dries fully, then you can assess it better. If it needs more evaporust, then add more evaporust or elongate the time. Right? Make it 8 hours or something.
When you lay the paper towel on top, do you press it or you just lay it on top?
No, you lay it on top. You just want to prevent the evaporation of the evaporust.
Okay.
Right. You want to keep it active in there. And I've done it in 4 hours by going back every hour and brushing it, right? Every hour. I found that unnecessary though, after all. So you could actually do it overnight. And all the books I've tried it on Silver Age, Bronze Age. I tried it on covers. I tried it on the interior. Covers are more sensitive in general to getting damage.
No, I've done it on covers,
Yeah, but the interior, exactly.
When I'm getting results like this, I'm not going to do evaporust on the cover.
Right.
But
But the interior really works, in my opinion, pretty well on all golden age, whatever, silver age. Yeah.
But I feel like we're still going to end up with a white.
You will. Bleaching effect is probably gonna be there to some degree, and it's a call on your end. Do you feel like it's better with the bleaching effect or without the bleaching effect?
I got you. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and then once you do the calcium hydroxide water bath and dry everything, then you can assess that trap, and then if it does look good to you, then go ahead and do the others. Otherwise, just keep it like one wrap. But if you keep it one wrap, it's going to look kind of odd, right?
It's going to be somewhere in the middle, and
stand out. Yeah, if it's hiding in the middle, that's a good idea. Do one in the middle. Yeah, that's where you can hide it. And you're not planning to.
This will probably be a book that I send in.
To CGC.
Yeah, I've never sent in any of my conservation work to CGC because I've always felt like the reason for the conservation is that you return the book to a state where it can be enjoyed.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But in this case, because of the rusty staples, the book was going to continue to deteriorate.
Absolutely.
So we needed to stop. That process from happening.
Yeah.
And Larry, has been pushing me to send in some of my stuff just so he can have a good basis of comparison of what I get compared to what he gets.
Yeah. No, it's sure. That's a good idea, actually. I should send in some of my stuff too. I haven't sent in anything in ages. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a good idea to send in your stuff. Send it in, do it and send it in. I've never sent in anything with evaporust, and I'm not sure how CGC would look at that, right? So CGC may look at that and say, oh, that's restoration. But to me, it isn't, right? To me, it's like really a mild way of getting rid of the rust. That's all.
Let me see if I can find an old book around here with some rust on it. Here's my stack of old classic illustrateds that I use for
sacrificial lands there.
Sacrificial. There's probably one or two in here that's rusted, I think. So, but yeah, very cool. All right, well, you've convinced me. I'll do a little bit more investigation on it. Now, I do know that they don't grade the interior as hard as they do the cover, but now that you mentioned the chance of restoration because they would see that bleached area versus that definitely means you've done something more than just a normal clean, right?
Yes.
So
but it's not, but you're removing the evaporust at the end. You're not keeping it in the paper, right? You're using it just as a chemical, basically, like calcium hydroxide, basically, right?
That's true too. Yeah, you're using it to remove the
damaging effect
remove the damage, but you're using it to remove the rust so that rust doesn't continue to migrate and cause harm to the book.
Exactly. It's a way of preserving the artifacts.
It is.
So you're preserving it, and that's really a goal of conservation. So you're doing nothing wrong there.
Right.
So, yeah. I mean, if they disagree with me, they disagree with me, but I think I am right. I think everything we're doing here is within the limit of conservation. I'm looking into now something called nanotechnology of cellulose, where you use these nanoparticulates of cellulose to enforce paper that had gone old, brittle and all that, right? So they use it in, it's a new paper came out just like recently, but they use these nanoparticles of cellulose to add them to paper, and the paper basically absorbs them and becomes better.
Wow.
It adds to the tensile strength of paper, right? But I need to get my hands on those chemicals, and everything, of course, is difficult to get these days. But but I don't think that's restoration either. That's conservation, even though you're adding the nanocellulose particles to it and not taking them out. Same
Right.
thing with calcium hydroxide. You're adding it in, you're not taking it out. So we are doing stuff. Yeah, we are doing stuff that is called, not kosher sometimes in the eyes of the purists, right?
That's true. We're definitely on the, I don't want to say cutting edge, but we're bringing some things that is making CGC take a second look at, for sure.
Yeah,
but that's good. Make them think a little bit.
Definitely.
Well, sir, thank you so much for popping on. It's great visiting with you.
It's my pleasure. It was unexpected and pleasure to talk to you.
It is
always fun to interact with you and others, and you're very delightful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You are too. You've been a big joy add to my life, and that's why I texted you the other day and we were talking. I was like, I just need some joy in my life. Paul won't talk to me, and Larry's busy with his girlfriend, and
dear, yeah. And Phil has a new girlfriend, to my understanding, right?
I messaged him the other day. I don't have his phone number. But
good for him. That's great. Always happy to see people getting on with their lives,
I agree. I'll live vicariously through other people's joy.
Well, pleasure. Thank you.
You too, my friend. Let's go watch. Probably getting close to Kamala.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
All right.
Good night. Later. Good night.
All right. And good night, community. Thank y'all, everybody. Hey, Tim. Good to see you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Go out, buy some comic books. Thanks again to Peter and everybody that's joined in the chat tonight. Thank you, Los Cruces. And with that, we're going to say peace, love, and comics. Good night, all.
Good night, all.